I personally have always dealt with the video game addiction from when I was 7 8 years old till I was 22 23. It was one of those things where I used to wake up and used to look forward to playing video games rather than studying or going out to play something. When I was pursuing my chartered accountancy, also when I was giving my final exams, I used to play 12 to 14 hours during the preparation phase, and the game which I played was Mafia City. It's basically a strategy game where you have to build your mansion and create an army. You're in a clan and you have to fight other clans. So it's a strategy game like Clash of Clans or something. So it was quite an interesting concept to me because you find a group of people that you can chat with online, and they are talking about similar topics related to the game, and you know something new and you go tell them, oh, I learned this. So it was quite addictive in a way because it formed a sense of security on an online space. So instead of doing what I should have been doing in real life, I was doing it online, making friends online, talking to people online. So it was happening via that game. So it's, see, one thing which is natural for us is that pain always succeeds pleasure. So if you have a lot of pleasure, there would be some pain associated to that pleasure, which will come later when that pleasure ends. If I played that game for 2 hours and then I took a break, I was immediately wanting to go back into the game and check what has happened when I've been gone. So that pleasure phase was succeeded with that vicious circle. It keeps on going on, and that is how addictions come into play. The first step is to identify that you have an addiction. It's basically you wanting to do that thing after you have just ended it and you're on to something else. If you're doing something else and you're thinking about that other thing. So that is how you identify an addiction. Theories which can help you cure any addiction are having a push force, having a pull force, or the chocolate theory. So having a push force is something, how it sounds, that you have something that pushes you away from the addiction. So for example, if you smoke weed, or you watch a lot of porn, and you know that it's damaging your health in some way or the other. It might be a physical damage. Mental damage is probably not as clearly identifiable as if it's damaging you physically. For example, if you have a lot of weakness, or you have some other disease which you have just started because of smoking a lot of weed. That is a push force. You understand that your health is deteriorating, and some people would understand that this is time to stop. So this is a push force which is happening. The other one is pull force. Pull force is something where someone or something pulls you out of that addiction. So it might be it might be two friends who have committed to each other to quit video game addiction. They hold each other accountable for not playing the video game. So they are both acting as a pull force for each other. The third thing is something which I call a chocolate theory. The chocolate theory basically means that it's a little messed up, but it is what worked for me along with the push force. Chocolate theory is basically that if you eat a lot of chocolate, a lot of chocolate, assuming that you like chocolate, every single day for the next few months or even the next few years, eventually you'll grow sick of it and you'll want to quit after a point. Similar with addiction, if you do that thing which you're addicted to for a lot of time, and the only exception to this is weed, because you're not in your senses after having weed. So weed is something that I would say that is an exception to this. But normally, if you watch porn, if you're addicted to porn, if you have a video game addiction, or if you have clubbing addiction, if you have a mobile phone addiction, Instagram addiction, anything of that sort, if you do it too much, after a few days, after a few months, or maybe 1 or 2 years, there will come a point that you will grow sick of an external stimulus in any way. You won't need a push or a pull force to leave it. So that is what the chocolate theory is. So you need to understand which is the driving force for you to leave your particular addiction. Then the second most important thing is to replace your addiction with something that improves you in some manner. So it might be something related to your business, or maybe you want to learn a new language. So it's very easy to relapse if you don't have a replacement for your addiction. If I used to play 12 hours video game earlier, and now I've decided to quit it because my let's say my grades are deteriorating or I'm failing my subjects, that I have a push for quitting video games, but I need to replace it with something. So I need to probably start studying. Out of those 12 hours, maybe 8 9 hours I would study, and the rest 3 4 hours maybe I can go out and go out, meet some friends, or have something to eat, something like that. Go to the gym maybe. So you need to have a replacement of that time, and that should ideally be something productive. Don't replace one addiction with another addiction. So that those are the two things which need to go hand in hand. One would be the driving force, and other would be the replacement part. What worked for me is I was having a push force. I was failing my exams. I failed twice, and the third time I cracked it. But those 2 times which I failed, they were the push force, because I knew if I didn't clear these exams, my I won't get a job. At least I won't get a good job. So I would. That was my push force, and I replaced it with a lot of studying and some workout. So it was more like 13 hours of studying and 1 hour of workout. But it was something productive at the end of the day. Just take care.